And welcome back to Janky AF and Year of the Aerostar, episode 46. Well, every time I want to sort of focus on a category or a certain type of Aerostar, there's so many Aerostars out there, and we're doing a little Eastern seaboard swing, and I was going to do only Aerostars that were kind of on the jankier side, or maybe like $1,000 or under. And then just new Aerostars keep popping up, and I want to do them all, and so I get distracted. But I think the cool thing about that is that that just sort of is proof of concept of the variety and variation and versatility. Variety, variation, versatility, the 3 V's of the Aerostar. But I did want to focus on this one here today because I just really like it. So, without further ado, here we have a 1991 Ford Aerostar XLT Extended Minivan, listed for just $2,000 in Mandeville, Louisiana, or Mandeville, Louisiana. Mandeville. Driven 150,000 miles, automatic transmission, exterior white. Now I know I am wearing gray, but this in the picture when I first saw it looked like a primer gray, or it looks like almost like a heather, but apparently it's white, and I can kind of see that. Interior color gray, fuel type gasoline. Boy, judging by the looks of this Aerostar, you could have a Louisiana Saturday night in this thing. It's just, it's rough in a lot of ways, but as we'll read the description, it's not so far off. It's kind of a diamond in the rough. Runs, but will need battery, will need to be towed, needs front end suspension and brake work. All right. Comes with parts. New ball joints and bushings, 2 new brake rotors, new front driver's side brake caliper, $2,000 or best offer. There you go. So it's a project, but some things that immediately stand out. Like this is a really nice, and I believe the last one we did was a 1990, 2 ago I think was a 91. Last one was a 97, I believe. But this is a nice, like, early Aerostar cargo version, and it's got all the tokenistic signs of like the cargo version, minus the barn doors, where I think this may have a lift gate, but I can't tell because the bumper's ripped off. Let's take a tour though, shall we? First thing we notice, this beautiful big rack on top. I love this thing. I would love to have an Aerostar with this thing on top. It gives it that kind of like Mad Max look. Plus I think it's very practical if you want to like store a lot of cargo up there, and you could put ladders as well, but it's a little bit more dual purpose. You could put, whatever you want up there, and you have more bars on the sides and stuff to strap things down as opposed to just a simple bar ladder rack system. It's almost like a big basket on top, and it's got this little angle, hopefully not killing too much of your Aerostar's 0.37 drag coefficient. Almost like, keeps the profile going of the Aerostar, so I really appreciate that. I just think it looks great. Some other things we'll notice, this gas cap, look how much grease and grime and dirt and soot is around and then weird streaky lines from nails or keys or who knows what's on your gas cap. It's almost like, you see a light switch that gets used a lot, or a door handle, or, around the refrigerator. It's just funny how much grease and grime we all have on our fingers. And so that's kind of a funny little sort of patina within a patina there. And moving on down, we see our sort of old style steel wheels with our dog dish hubcaps. Now I think that sort of went away right around 92 or 93 when they started putting some more like modern 90s looking hubcaps on. I did sort of retrofit my green 1993 Aerostar Sport with these wheels and dog dish hubcaps, and I think it looks absolutely fantastic. And it is OEM, it's still original to the Aerostar, even if it's a tiny bit anachronistic within the actual run of the Aerostar. So a couple of little features there right away. Just, I don't know, something about this one just gave me, even though it's like a little rougher and a little jankier, well, of course that's not necessarily a bad thing to me, but it would need a little work to make it look nice, but I think it's got all the guts that I really like. It's got a lot of cool features aesthetically that I really like. and that you could work on, you know, to make like looking like a really, it looks like it does have as I cut myself off here, it looks like it does have barn doors, so it is a true cargo van. It doesn't have a lift gate. You can see that split there. So this one, boy, I'm really digging this one. I've been really into the extendeds lately. I always was like a shorty guy, and I love just sort of the squat persona of like the standard length. It was a little less, you know, it was a little easier to drive, a little less weight, perhaps a little better gas mileage, and I just really liked the look of them. But now I'm getting really into the extendeds, I gotta say. On the front here, we can see the front bumper cover is ripped off, and you see the actual bumper underneath, which attaches to that. Now this is an interesting picture for me for research purposes, because I do want to remove the front bumper cover of my 1986 Aerostar and paint it brown to match the rear bumper, and the rest of the van color for that matter. Another cool thing, this being a 91, is we're in the very rarely seen middle grill period, where it was not the original 5-spoke grill, which looks very different. It has moved over to the 3-spoke grill, but the Ford logo is in the center instead of at the top, as the sort of that was your much more mainstream Aerostar grill. It had the longest run. This and the first grill had each a 3-year run, so fairly rare. I like these years because the interior was still sort of the, you know, pre-facelift interior, but you had your modern grille. So it was like, you know, it's the mid-evolution of the Aerostar. It had hit the ground running, it had become established, and now it was sort of starting to modernize a little bit. But a unique era for the Aerostar, and certainly a cargo era in this generation would be very cool. Another thing I like about it is that all your, and I'm guessing this is a cargo thing, perhaps these are painted, and that could well be that these were painted like a matte color, but I think a lot of them came this way, where instead of being like painted this gray shiny plastic, it was like the stripped down cargo version, so you would just have like your flat black or gray plastic, where it has more of like a matte finish to it, and I like it. It adds to the cargo vibe of it. It adds to the cool sort of like black and white contrast to it, where it's you know, there's no gray involved. It's just like all black or white, and your black rack, your black cowl, your black windshield wipers, as I talk about all the time, all these little black, your black wing mirrors. Now it's interesting that these are not towing mirrors on this cargo version, but that's maybe the only thing that I would possibly change, although these little plastic mirrors look just fine, I think. And then of course your black grille and headlight bezels. I just think it gives it like a really cool, really nice, like, you know, contractor, bare bones, basic vibe to it. And of course your black door handles, black window seals, I could go on and on. Black wheels, and I really think those dog dish hubcaps do a lot to make this van stand out and give it that sort of 80s presence. Oof, I might sneeze here in a second. That would be a first, I think, for Year of the Aerostar if I sneezed. Okay, so indeed, we have your rear barn doors here. You can see by this little hinge right here. And of course, the bumpers on the cargo versions were slightly different. So if you are trying to find a rear bumper, which is almost near impossible, then if you have to find a cargo version, they had a little dip here for this bottom hinge. So good luck with that. I really think that I got to find a couple of OEM bumpers and go through and pay the money to have them 3D scanned and 3D printed, because I think there's a market out there, and it'd be great to replicate these bumpers, because as the Aerostar becomes a little bit more popular, you know, they're just getting harder and harder to get, and you know, they wouldn't be cheap, but they're not cheap now, you know. So if you went through the R&D costs of actually making a product, then you could just like print them out. So if anyone's involved in 3D printing or 3D scanning and want to, you know, venture on with that project, you know, get in touch with Janky AF. Your lovely semi-side exhaust, I call it. I haven't talked about this in a while. It's just funny how the tailpipe comes out and bends out the side, and obviously more noticeable when your bumper cover is in here. But I always joke about how a lot of sports cars, your Shelby Cobras and your Dodge Vipers and things like that, are side exhaust. Chevy Corvettes, you know, the C2 Corvettes and some C3 Corvettes. And it's like a real sports car feature where, you know, the exhaust isn't traveling all the way to the back. It's coming out the side, and you can cook eggs on your, you know, door sill there. And the Aerostars does come most of the way back, but then it has this little factory, it's not bent, this factory little turn in the pipe right at the end there. So I think, another sports car feature of the Aerostar is the side exhaust. It's a little bit of a stretch, but boy, I love this tire and wheel package here. Now, I love white walls. I'll put white walls on anything. I just love them. But white lettering certainly looks, and this looks like it's, the fraternity down at the local college was printing tires or something like that. Sigma Epsilon or something. Supreme. But certainly the white face on the black tires with the black wheels with these silver dog dish hubcaps. Now this is interesting because a lot of these dog dish hubcaps had a red middle, no matter what color the car was at. But I believe there were some black middles that or they've been painted, but I don't think so. I think maybe these are like the rare sort of like black center cap dog dish hubcaps. And of course, boy, just a stunning package right there with the tires look to be in decent shape too. Your fraternity tires with your black wheels and silver dog dish hubcaps. Just a mean looking presence here on this sort of contractor Aerostar extended cargo edition. Boy, what a unique vehicle. Moving on to the interior. Another thing I love about the cargo van, the vinyl seats. They're just more basic. They don't have all like the fancy two-tone thing going on and the piping and all that. And vinyl, it's a little. These are a little chewed up now, but it's a little harder to stain. Like once cloth gets kind of that wet dog or candy or whatever it gets in it, after a while, carpet's really hard to sort of get clean after it's been soiled, whereas leather can kind of be brought back to life again and again if it's like polished and treated and all that. Now obviously this is not leather, and obviously this would need to be sewed up, but I really do have an affinity for vinyl seats, even though they were like kind of the cheap seats. I think there's a lot of good to be said about them. So we have your, now all these images are just leave a little to be desired, nothing against the seller, but they're always, there's never like a clean sort of, picture of the thing. It's always sort of like a little window box. Unfortunately, I would like to just see a shot. I don't know what I'm going to do actually for the thumbnail on this van, because I would like to get like a clean shot of the entire vehicle. And unfortunately, it looks like they just don't have a lot of room to work with maybe, but it's just your eye just wants to scroll up and see the rest of it. But that's okay. We have a nice igloo cooler, which looks like it has like a built-in cup holder in it as your center console. Now that is a fantastic idea. I have to say, can't believe I never thought of this in one of my Aerostars. Like just put a cooler right in there. As long as it has a flat top, then you have your platform. And then this cooler just seems to have a cup holder coming out of it. So like you put your cup holders here and then you lift up the panel. Now in my 2015 Toyota Prius V, I love how the center console flips up this way. It doesn't flip up this way. It flips up like it's like driver oriented, they say. A little hard to get in from the passenger side, but that's okay. But it just flips up like that. And so if this would be the same way, you face it that way, you lift up your cooler, you grab a drink in ice, and then you set it in your cup holder. And then you got a flat platform too if you got to put anything on. So boy, I think that's an excellent little upgrade addition there. And I just like the style of this cooler. It fits the van, very 80s. Beautiful. Hopefully that comes with the van for the purchase price. Of course, your giant automatic transmission stock lever that came in these earlier Aerostars looks fantastic, and just automatic transmission. Now if this thing was a manual, I'd be on my way down to Mandeville with borrowed money in my hand to go buy this thing. But automatic transmission, your nice steering wheel and your steering column cover is still on. That is not on my 86, and boy, I'll tell you, those are pain to get back on. Looks like your dog door cover is actually not carpet here, so I wonder if that's a cargo van specific thing. Usually they're carpeted, but maybe they just went cheap for the cargo version. Here's a better shot. Crank windows, love it. All gray interior, love it. Aerostar badging on your dashboard there, love it. Big automatic transmission lever. I just love everything about this Aerostar. And we do get a picture of the back, okay, completely stripped out, but you do have some nice aftermarket shelving. And I wonder if they added a little seat in the back here, like a little rumble seat. That would be cool. It looks like, I wonder, never knew this on if the Aerostars had this built-in cargo shelf on the cargos, this little pocket there. That's very cool. You know, I really would like, in addition to owning extended, I want to own a cargo version. I love the barn doors. I think it's so cool that they came with barn doors. Another fantastic sort of variation of things you could get with the Aerostar. You know, actually featuring two different types of rear doors. Like, I don't know how many vehicles did that. Really, if you think about it, it's kind of unique. So there you go. Just saw this one, and I don't know. You know, sometimes you just get smitten by something. Sometimes Jay Leno, like Jay Leno says, just the way it sits, just feels right, just looks right. So I'd love to get some bumpers for it. If you put slap bumpers on this thing, oh boy, it would be like a real rig. And only 150,000 miles, so not really too bad considering you see a lot of these Aerostars at well over 200, 220, 230,000 miles. So just a really nice one. Really liked it here on this sort of eastern seaboard swing. And hopefully maybe we'll find some more cargos to do. But just running through the gambit, a lot of janky Aerostars down south. I gotta say, some real good picking down there. But a couple of really sort of clean ones. I think there's like a teal camper van that maybe we'll do soon. So there you have it here on Year of the Aerostar. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. And until next time, Janky do Thanky.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.